So it's been very hot here. It's hot all the time here in the summer. Rarely goes below the 80s. Sometimes as high as the hundreds, and different spots in the house and around the house, of course, it'll be maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower depending on exposure. So a few years ago we had some multiple day power outages, and I do have a propane burner, and we had a generator, and we were able to make it work. But I thought, you know, we have the power of the sun also, and maybe I can make that work. So I ordered a really cheap solar oven from Amazon, and I've done a couple things in it. I still haven't mastered it. One of the problems is, for the first several years I was here, during the hottest time of the year, we had a lot of fires, and the sun was pretty much obscured by smoke, and there was I didn't really know if it was going to be as effective as having just straight on sun. So I decided I would try my hand at drying some fruit out there. So this is how it went. I took the cooker and I put it on a chair on the back deck in the area which I figured would get the most amount of sun. I cut up a pear, put the pear on some parchment paper on a cookie sheet, and grated up a carrot and put it in another pan with also with parchment paper, and went ahead and arranged it in the solar cooker and zipped down the lid. There's a zip here, so you can open it like this to put your stuff in, and then you can zip it all up like this. Well, about 2-3 hours later, I realized my mistake. About 2 hours later, I went out, and this window was simply full of condensation. I realized that I'm dehydrating something. We're trying to remove the liquid from the product, and it has no place to go. So I ended up just lifting this and putting a clothespin up here and just letting the food sit here like this. Well, it ended up being very successful. About 3 hours in, my carrots were completely dried out, and they were even a little blanched, because one of the deals with solar cooking, you don't just get the heat, you also get the light. So I probably could have taken them out a little earlier instead of letting them there in the full sun, but they were completely dried out. So took a few more hours for the pears to be dried out, but they dried out great and were absolutely delicious. The heat reached about 105 outside. The deck is really hot, and it gets direct sunlight for part of the day. So I think the amount of time this would take would definitely vary depending on the amount of sun and the heat, but it was just a fantastic way to dehydrate. I do have an electric dehydrator, but I've been hesitant to use it. It's great in the winter because it warms everything up, but I thought I just don't want to have any more heat in this house. It is like so hot here. Also, there's a power bill issue, and there's also the cleaning of the dehydrator when I'm done, which I don't mind doing because I put a liner in it. But this was like so easy, so efficient, free, fast, and again, uses the power of what we already have here, which is the sun. Now, I did use this solar cooker with the top up, and I think it helped because it has these reflective panels from side to side, but you don't need to, I don't think you really need to do this. I think if you just put them out in a really hot sun on a cookie tray with parchment paper, you will probably get the same results in probably the same amount of time, maybe a little more time. But I don't think you should be held back by the fact you don't have a solar cooker. So anyway, if you don't have a dehydrator, do not despair. There are ways to dehydrate foods without one, and using the power of the sun is definitely a good one. Thank you so much for watching.